Top from last time, I'm guessing. So the quote for today, actually, we're going to spend a little bit of time later on during the class going through the essay that Malcolm makes. He wanted to explain how he thought. He was asked to give his thoughts on how he thought. This comes from that essay essentially. It says the words are language as they are written or spoken, do not seem to play any role in my mechanism of thought. We talked before in class about inner voice. We're going to talk today about inner voice. Inner voice is going to be on your exam on Monday. So inner voice is something that Albert Einstein, his essay says that he basically does and I'll paraphrase a little bit what the conclusion of the essay is really detailed today. Essentially, he says he thinks sort of in images and concepts, and then he has to communicate it, and he translates what he has to communicate to words. And apparently, it's very difficult for him to translate things into words. So, when you think about inner voice, it's convenience. It's something that allows us to use words, talk to ourselves, and use. Whenever we use words, we're simplifying the concept. Sometimes the word is a concept. But when we're describing nature or something we saw, when we use words, the words are an approximation to whatever it is that we saw. So the words are an approximation to whatever experience it is that we thought. So more than one person can experience an event by saying we're looking at a sunset. And both of you can look at it, and all of us can look at it, and we can describe to each other what we're seeing. Oh, you see this? Or yesterday I was at my house, and there were 3 people there. And we were looking at the house here, top of that. From it, you can see Mexico and land. So we were looking at sunset, but the sun wasn't there. There was a cloud above. And off to the right, just in the part of sort of between where you're going on Mexico and the water is raining. And then you can see sort of the dark clouds and rain this way. So it's a pretty cool scene. You can see the bright ray of light here, but the light was sort of being absorbed by the rain that was coming here. You couldn't see the sun yet because it was behind it. So we saw, sat there and appreciated and shared with each other what we were seeing. But we were using words, so the way we were stuck. Right? If I could somehow have my friends mind meld, whatever it is that technology is going to be so that they can tap into my senses, I would need to use words. And not only would I not need to use words, at least about what I was seeing. They would have direct access to what I was seeing. And presumably, what I'm seeing is what they're seeing. So presumably, our eyes are looking at it. But the experience that I have, the memories that I use, when I look at the sunset, are going to be different. So, to me, it seems natural that my perceptions move. It's my emotions. It's what I'm relating to. But let's say my friends weren't there with me, they were somewhere else. We went to them. Maybe turn on the video on the phone, take some pictures. And I can tell you that at least with my camera, pictures have to show what I'm seeing. We don't. They look pretty, but they don't have the same perception. Or I can describe it to them like I'm describing it to you. My description of the sunset that I saw yesterday to you You're probably envisioning that it was raining and it was cold. But you've never been to my house, so you don't necessarily know sort of what the angle of the things are. You envision that you couldn't see the sun, but there's a brilliance of rays of sun going on some water. So I'm necessarily limited to you with the best words I can come up with to describe it. And when you hear these words, they're going to evoke different images in your mind, what this thing looks like. So if you sat here now, where you are, you've been trying to envision what I was looking at yesterday. That sunset, you can envision, I'm sure, a sunset. I'm sure you can envision some rain off in the distance. And all of you that reached driven down on the little road, look off inside, and at least know what things look like from that. Well, maybe some of you have been up here and you've done the same. Whatever it is that you're envisioning is going to be different than whatever it is that I envisioned, which is going to be different than what I saw. But as I constructed this in my mind to tell you what I want to share with you, I'm using words. I'm identifying words, and I'm communicating words. So necessarily, if what I saw, I don't know the word for it. And the best thing I can do is come up with other words to try to best communicate what I saw. So imagine if you didn't have an intercourse, like Albert Einstein. So in your brain, while you're thinking, you want to restrict to the words that you have, to your language, because you're communicating to yourself. You potentially look at concepts and images that you saw, thoughts, emotions, kind of feel through your emotions. Maybe think about things in a way that's very different than if you only think about things that work. I'll talk about that a little bit later in class. This discussion is going to be really important for your exam. I'll tell you right now, your exam will have a particular part. It's going to be pretty much related to your voice. It's going to bring in some things that we talked about throughout the class. I'm really excited about it because every time I give you guys homework or an exam question that requires you to think, I get to enjoy reading. We have a real creative class here. So I'm really excited about reading in particular, even though you haven't seen it before. So inner voice can be a very important part of that. Thinking about what it would be like for someone who isn't constrained by all they're going to see in the first couple of nights tonight. Figure everything out in his head. In order to communicate to someone else, you got to at least put it down. So at some point, unless his whole goal was knowledge to himself, you still have to, so at some point, put it out there in words. You have to constrain it out. So we'll do some announcements. I wanted to go through that like I did, and I don't know. I just, because I'm going to go through your voice again, and it's going to be so we learned one of the things that helps us learn when we've seen something that's very simple. When we've seen something and then, or heard something, and then we do other things and we come back and we see it and we hear it. By the time we get to the final exams, our experts. So, required reading is still the same number 5, which if you haven't read it, you're trying to do it homework. If you read it, you do your homework at the same time, the same time. I actually have to look at these are submitted for this piece. But The other part I'm adding here is actually on collab. I'm going to do this in class, the class day after the exam. So we'll actually go through some code in class. And that'll be really important because then your homework is going to be related to making adaptations. So that would be a class that if for some of you may actually be fairly easy next time. Some of you hope are going to come to programming, make sure you do that class and ask questions. Follow what I did in that class, the homework should be fairly easy. Some of the terms that were in this homework, which are really simple questions, like what's the definition of, are words that I just wanted people to be familiar with because it's going to come up in the program. So, homework's due tonight, exam, comparable format to last time. There's going to be a take-home portion. It might be related to the mirror voice. That's going to be up by tomorrow. It may be up tonight, but I'm sure it'll be up tomorrow at some point. I'll turn to anyone else. The new class part is going to be more similar to last time. Different topics. I will say when we come here this time, there were some of you that I think could have been a little bit better on the class part. You had maybe finished writing it all down, set it aside, reading a little bit, and gone back and read it a little bit, which is my thought. I felt like maybe some of the questions, a few of you, not all, you missed it because you didn't really read the questions. Obviously, I want to do that. The material is going to be briefly focused on the cover, the reading, videos that are designed, that kind of stuff. Throughout the course, but with the emphasis of the needs. The things that we'll rely on from the previous topic should be things that you already know. This is our agenda for today. So the first part of our agenda is open Q&A for exam prep. Is there any questions about the exam? I feel like you guys are pretty good. Okay, we're going to talk about making voice. Actually, just a little bit in the last class. But, we spent a lot of time in the first part of the course going through the senses. Have receptors for the 5/6 different types of senses. Those receptors interact with things in the environment. Number 5, number 5, energy reaction, sensible. We send electrical signals in. We didn't really spend a lot of time in the class talking about what happens when you do stuff. The brain decides that it wants something to happen. That was by design because there's a lot of material that we have to talk about. But this is one where I think at least a couple of slides that we understand what happens when you voice, or at least that you think about it. We have given some examples in class of what happens when you are moving, and how important some of the sensory inputs can be in terms of the body. And then we talk about the reflex on the reflex on go up. And then we talk about concepts. And important is that concepts, if you have a concept of what's supposed to happen, it helps you when you step back and about to step on a cat, not squash your cat very quickly. Information that the model of what you're doing, what should be happening is not what's actually wait for the senses to tell you something's going on by the time you get back to that behavior response. Some of this sounds repetitive, it's good. It means you learned it the first time if it shows up in the exam. If it doesn't, the reason I'm going through it this way is trying to reinforce things that I mentioned before so that it's more effective. So for sound, you basically, when you decide you want to speak, you say, I want to speak. Okay, I'm going to have some wind energy come from the area from my lungs, and then I'm going to modulate that a little bit with my throat, my tonsils, and then I'm going to put some final touches on it with my lips and my tongue. If we did that, we never say anything. So obviously, there's a lot of things, just like in the senses, that are going on fairly automatically. That, I think we would get people like I have to think about something I want to say, and then I have to think about a lot of time for all these different things that happen to make sure that what I said is actually what I intended to say. But as we grow accustomed over time in speaking, this feedback mechanism, concept that we create for what it should sound like when I speak, the concept that we create tells my motor neurons what they need to do in order to create these sounds are pretty accurate. So when I speak, unless I've had some feeling information or my nose or something, for the most part, it's going to sound like what I think it should sound like. And I'm doing it. So those are the things that are happening. It's actually quite a lot of things. Very important for me to vocalize something very specific. Well, now they're complicated even more. I'm sure this is because that's just speaking. So it's one of the things that I'm useless. Orating is kind of like speaking. That's somewhat of what I'm doing right now. Like this isn't a normal conversation that we have. So my projection of my voice is a little chat. I'm not going to shout. Rapping is the other form of communication. I'm not going to rap. I'm not going to rap. Singing, even just within the musical domain, boleros, rock, opera, very different types of sounds and projections that are effective languages and similar effective variants on language. We still be using the same words, but I'm using those words in a different way. And even if I take the music out, if I were to sing a bolero, or to sing it without the music, the same words that I would be saying to you would evoke a different perspective, a different perception than if I was just saying those words. If I was just speaking. The same words, same meaningless letters that combine into meaningful concepts that are words. Words spoken, words orated, words rapped, words sung, without music, communicate different concepts. Things I think you probably know, but we don't really think about very much. Okay, so when we talk about inner voice, my main emphasis in this class is in respect to how we identify and think through concepts. So when we access our memories, when we have conversations about what we say, when we read a problem and we're trying to figure out what the solution is, To the extent that we have an inner voice, that inner voice is a tool that we rely on in order to access memories. So, when we talk about an artificial system, we want to think about how would we apply an inner voice to an artificial system? How would we use that to help us access memories that maybe, or things that are in memory that may be relevant to the problem that we're trying to solve? How would we use the concept of an inner voice to help us think through solutions? Computer programs today don't really have an inner voice. So I'm not really. You are just that. They may have stops within the program so we can see sort of what the state of the system is. It's lost or something like that. Or if it's within the routine that we they don't necessarily pause and think through it. But they kind of. Is it that computers are so fast that they don't really have to think about it? But if we take the concept of where we force problems, allow them to gather, allow them to information. It's always a trade-off with the amount of information to consider within the time it takes to consider that. So we talked last time about associations, word associations. Inner voice is what part of what we do when we think and we access memories. I put background music here. Background music in your head can set an emotional tone for everything that you do. So if I am going to work out, I oftentimes will pick a song that's not a melodic. I might even pick a song that's got some edgy words to it. I wouldn't play it very well. It might be like these things that kind of pump me up a little bit. But I don't even have to play that song for real. I can just play that song. When I'm driving in, I don't necessarily have to have a radio on. If I'm in a good mood, I can just play a song in my head that I like. Or maybe I'm in a good mood because I am playing the song in my head. So the power of the inner voice is a real big, scary power. That's what I want to show you in this slide. Okay, inner voice. So this actually comes from Albert Einstein. And I've divided it up into a few slides. I'm going to give you a little bit of time to read each one. So Albert Einstein is considered as of the things that he described to be someone that more unusual in terms of their ability to solve complex problems. So what he's describing is the process, frankly, it's very different than the process that I do. I pretty much constantly have a new rules. I don't know if I'm imagining that many of you, since we've been talking about this concept, maybe in your own experience of the last few weeks, been a little bit more conscious of your that's the thing. There were some people in the class, or at least a couple, that didn't feel like they normally had the same voice for them. See that because you don't have any other voice or you don't rely on your voice, doesn't necessarily mean it's a limitation, although it can create challenges. Here what he's saying is he's running around with signs and images. He doesn't say these images are vague, he says these images are clear. So if he's evaluating or thinking about things, presumably we could, obviously he's in the right way, could see things very clearly and play around with these things. Signs can be images. And then at the bottom it says, before there is any connection with logical construction of words or other kinds of signs which can be communicated with others. He calls it combinatory language. Anybody experienced this? Let me ask the question in a slightly different way. Have you ever experienced an instance of this?
I don't think that's the word they're saying.
What did he say?
Yeah.
So if you have an inner voice, when you think about things, you are using words. You're not using those outside. You're using them inside. You're talking to yourself. So if I'm trying to figure out a problem, I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to verbalize what I normally think about. You myself, okay, what are the words here? What am I trying to figure out? Okay, I'm trying to figure out this. So I need to constrain it this way. I don't want to solve this by hand. Okay, so what I'm going to do, so that's those, they're going very fast. That's what the words there in my mind. So by doing that, my whole thought process is constrained by my words. So I'm not going to figure out some way to combine something that I don't have a word for, or that I don't have a previous experience with combining language. If I'm using words to guide my access to thoughts, my formulation of solutions, that I am constrained, just like I was constrained with you, I've explained to you the sunset. You didn't get access to my eyes. You relying on words. So my own thinking, if I'm constraining it by only relying on words, then by definition I'm constraining possible ways of looking at it. So what he's saying is, I'm not using words, I'm not talking to myself, I'm just seeing images that are very clear in silence. I'm using that and I'm manipulating, I'm playing around with it, I'm combining them. So it would be similar to, combining a time series of polynomial a series of that to an expression for a differential equation. So if you use symbols and words, you can think about what are the steps that I need to do that, and what are the rules that I need to use. And you use words together. If not, you really visualize the equation sort of changing and moving around. Is that better? And so the idea here is if you don't constrain yourself, as soon as you constrain yourself to words, you're very what you're able to describe. That's what I'm thinking. But you're also really good at what you're able to conceive. You don't have word for it, you can't conceive it. So now my question is, have we experienced instances of thinking about things and coming to solutions without having to use words in the past? You don't have to come up with the end because that's some square. It could be simple. I'm going to start by saying that definitely. If I try to explain to you circumstances or instances that I've done this, just so you know it's not because I'm making that up. I would describe them as circumstances where I've had a certain intuition about them. I've had a certain feeling that something's right or that something's wrong. But I really been able to explain that. Or that I should do something that I can't logically explain to you why. I can't logically explain to you why because I haven't gone through an inner voice process of explaining to myself more. I know the conclusion, or I know what I feel. So I'm able to come up with a result, like a decision, by combining something without using words. I think they're not as clear as the images. Sometimes we come up with solutions to problems in ways that we're not necessarily cognizant. It shouldn't be like pretty mystery. Like a lot of what we do is in our subconscious. We don't think about breathing out, we don't think about modulating the growth and toxins. We just do it. It's like the word association we talked about last time. Don't think about why. Think about elephant and was say Africa. But it wasn't, probabilistically possible because it was something that was wrong. So there are things that are going on in your subconscious. And in fact, I'll argue with you, bro, just put this statement out there. There are more things that are going on in your subconscious at any given time than are actually going on in your conscious. I found that interesting. It suggests actually two things. One, it suggests that we as humans, when we're trying to solve a problem, we just can't figure it out. We just keep coming to the same stumbling block. But there's something to be said when people say, look, just take a deep breath. Go walk around the block and come back and look at it again. Saying that, hey, maybe you're too focused on words and your inner voice and your concepts, and what you need to do is allow what's happening. So allow other processes that are going on in the brain that aren't the inner voice, conscious process, to go on and help you with the problem. Some of these things that we think about as being fun or goofy or weird aren't necessarily something to think about how the brain works on a regular basis. The other thing is it could give you ideas on how to solve problems in non-vigorous algorithmic ways. So this is the second thing he said. I said essay, it was really the sort of essay was really a letter that he wrote to another professor who was writing a book that theory about cognitive processes. I will give you some time to read. So he's so good at looking at things clearly and combining them, that we can maybe even take that turtle and the space image and in his mind visualize what it would look like combined. Then he's stuck because he doesn't know how to explain it. So it's laboriousness. I mean, that's a pretty significant word. It means for him to speak. He's got to sweat inside. So he's looking for a logical connection to what he's playing, but he's not looking for logical connections to the words that he's using. So he's got a concept, again, of a turtle. He's got a concept of an image, of space. He's not thinking about how those two words, the concepts associated with those words come together. Or the files that represent those words. He's thinking about how the images come together. So at some point you have to come to words if you're going to communicate that to someone else or something written, right? You don't necessarily need to use the words to go through the processes when you're thinking about it. I would suggest that a lot of you have done this before. If you've got a really tough situation sometimes to go through a decision you have to make, and there's a lot of emotion, sometimes that can make it harder to think through things in words. And so I think in those cases, when you're deciding if you're going to break up with a mate or a friend, or if you're going to go to grad school or something, in those cases you're thinking more like Albert Einstein, less like like a regular person. I don't know if that's good or bad, but it is. Now, in that case, maybe it's for a different reason because, well, not necessarily for a different reason, but in that case, you may not be able to put into words what's important, right? Because there are these feelings and we haven't been educated since an early age at articulating very well our feelings. And so in a way, maybe not knowing the words can help us in these situations to solve problems that maybe we couldn't solve as well if we had the words. Is it D? There's an old song that says, "Let the words get in the way." So what he's saying here is that the words don't get in. He's thinking about things, the words are there. He said that when he now has to communicate, it's a laborious process. And he just sort of reaffirming that here. So you're stating the words in their meaning. He's just saying it. Not really, he's sort of dissociated what he said, what he's saying it from his thinking. Before he sort of thought about it, now he's just translating the words versus using the words to think about concepts of truth. So all the pieces are really actually kind of here now. There's one more slide. But I want to foreshadow. All the kind of pieces are here to say that if there's someone that's thinking in your voice, and they're thinking about things and accessing information from senses and putting it into a language-based conceptual framework, they're processing memories and thoughts in a certain way. And if they're not doing that, if they're still going through their sensories and exclude slim the constraint of language within their head. I should be constrained to words I know. Communicating with myself, I don't need to have a word. Right? If I do that, if I don't say, okay, I don't need to use words when I actually need words to communicate with someone else, not limiting my problem solving really based on words. And that's going to look very different. So you can imagine that it could be interesting to look at a model, what models in this class, for the case where someone is using database, and a model for someone like Albert Einstein that's not constraining themselves to. Maybe looking at 24 models. I think this is the last one. It's a little bit out of context, so you're not going to necessarily understand it all. The words I like here are between near associating or combining reproducible elements and between understanding. This all relates to consciousness, which in this class is where everything comes together. That's the great part. Okay, so now we can have a discussion about inner voice. I want to make sure that you all really understand this concept. And then, yeah. Discussion in voices. So that's it here. It's very important that you understand inner voice. As we were talking about in this class. So I'm interested to hear your thoughts on the opportunities, observations that you have. Whether or not you think it's good to you.
I think it's important. I like sometimes I do without an example. You're doing something process that helps to like talk to yourself with that like so way to get to that place. Something like that. So that would be kind of
So if you, I don't know if you it sounds like maybe it's probably, I'm curious, over time, if you can go through these poses without actually providing words, you're just going to go through your routine, maybe not use words, flow from them.
but it's important when you're starting out. Because it helps connection. Feel away with that as you go across the folks. But once you got that down, then it doesn't happen as slowly. See it happen.
You're very 100% clear on your voice. That's good time to ask questions. Or talk. How about when you, does anyone hear things? Actually, I travel a lot. As a Puerto Rican, I'm supposed to be able to do something. But other Latin American countries, they do that soft. Shows. There are some dances that I try to do where I very much like have to think about what I'm doing. I don't know that I would say I use a real voice. But I would say that I at least use something that's similar to the voice to decide what I'm going to do next. I generally am not very good at voice. I think, so if I can make it up as I go, I make it up as I go. And I can tell you there, I do an ice on that. I don't talk to myself about earlier. It's either an ice mic or Avalon's dog. Avalon's dog is a technology to experiment with training the dog. Too small to take out. What I mean by that is whenever music changes, the beat changes, something changes, I have to change what I'm doing. I don't say, oh, no, new patterns. Sort of have some sort of connection to whatever it is the music kind of makes me do. So I feel the music, and I let myself go with the music. And then I can actually so kind of two different things going on here. One is not describing a word to what I'm going to do. And the other is sort of like the word association. So somehow there be a connection between the music and I'm hearing and the motion of my body. Without letting my body so you know that should go on. So in voice is a process that we use. Uses concepts, letters, that are used, combines words, and we use that sort of as an approximation of what we're thinking about. And if we're really good at it, we can really use it by combining concept by using words without having really been thinking about that. We do a lot of combining concepts with our words without really thinking. To some extent, if we're able to shut down our inner voice when we want, how are we going to think? His voice, can't really use effectively words, and we can't use concepts. And if we're doing yoga, maybe we can use greater sensitivity to our feelings, like interoception. Use that to drive thought. It's an interesting thing. Even if that thought is conscious thought, even if it's conscious thought, you may not necessarily have words for it. So then it becomes intuition. It becomes that feeling. Because if you have conscious thought, it's conscious thought, and that's something that's going on inside. It's conscious thought. If you're not using words, you have to explain to someone else. How do you feel that way? I don't know. I have no words. I know it, but I can't communicate it to you. I have no words, so I can't even communicate it to myself. I just feel like in an AI class that's talking about language, I at least haven't put up this slide. I mentioned last time, language very, very complex. And, there's whole university departments that get out degrees in this area for different reasons. But I at least want to show you that there's a branch that relates to this. There's a lot of big words there. I tried to break it out into a bullet list. Study of language to understand the human capacity to learn. That language is like German. Well, that was an interesting case. I actually have some friends visiting now from Germany. Spent 3 weeks with us. He doesn't speak anything other than German. And she speaks English like an infinite amount of time together as the best way to speak. Her English is just good. So I've been experiencing language over the last few days since I've been in a really interesting way of communicating with someone actually fairly effectively without having a common language that we speak. So I didn't invite them to come just to help with the conversation. It's been added. First thing that we had to learn, or that we had to help Frankfurt learn, is that okay doesn't mean good, so, not really, I don't like this. Because at first I would ask them, what do you think about it? Oh, it's okay. What do you think about this? It's okay. So we have to calibrate okay with this. Is it this okay? Is it that okay? Or is it that okay? Because okay, as I found out, is an English word that you as a German uses not basically say it's not, whatever it means, it's not horrible. It's not horrible. Okay, it's not horrible. Good means it's good. Good is not horrible. Right? So is also not horrible. So pretty much it covers a broad spectrum. So we actually have been communicating with this, except now he uses the word gut, which is gut in German, good in English. He still doesn't say bad, but he has learned how to say like better. So he won't say anything's bad, but he will say that he likes other things better. Okay, now I want to pause because, and there might have been some confusion, so if you're not ready, don't worry, but Hector's going to start. On Monday's the test, and then on Wednesday we're going to walk through the lab classification example. And then you're going to use that on homework to apply it to different scenarios. And so I wanted to make sure that you had that some good perspectives on how people were able to adapt code examples that are in the lab to get them to do something different. That's what basically it says in the next homework, you actually have to do it and get it right. So it's the last one, you can do it and get it right, or not do it and explain how you start. This one, you actually have to do it and get it right. So I'm going to invite Hector to come up here. I just use two fingers to scroll. Everything you see here will be up there. Let me take off the mic. Oh, I do have that. Hold on. So here you have to use four fingers up and then click. That's the only one I have. So 4 fingers up and then click on it. The mic's going to be here, so you want to stay in front of it.
All right, so hi everyone. For the ones who don't know me, I'm Hector Rodriguez. So the professor asked me to give you a little walkthrough of how I got the results with the homework with the neurostyle transfer. First, I want to show you my result. In my opinion, it looks really cool. As you can see, it basically mixed styles with the turtle and the image that the professor sent us, and it gives it gave it this like really artistic effect to it. Almost something like really bang on, in my opinion, but it looks really cool. So I'm gonna explain you how I did it. So for the ones that probably, I'm sure that everyone played with this, but this is the Colab, the new Colab notebook. So it has different things from text to code snippets, and in this case, it has a lot of examples and basically explains everything that you're doing here. So going directly to how to create the image. First of all, you gotta download the image that the professor sent us. The URL is in the homework submission. And once you have that, you open up your Colab notebook and connect to it. After having that, you're gonna see this. If you look on the left side of the screen, you're gonna see that there's the table of contents, code snippets, and the files tab. You're gonna go into the files tab, and you can look around. You can go to the root in this case. If we continue working like in the way that this notebook is set up, it saves the images, the turtle image, and many other sample images it has in a directory, which is under root tmp nst. I didn't do that. That comes built in with that specific notebook. So assuming you already downloaded the image, you have it at hand. So we're gonna start. It's really important that I'm not gonna go executing all the code because it takes some time, some of them. But it's really important that you execute all of these code snippets in order. So for example, this first one in the notebook, it just takes it downloads several images, sample images, including the turtle one, and it saves them in that directory.
Yeah, just to be clear, when you say download the image, I think I had to give you
there's a URL.
Go to the link in the browser, you're just going to see it.
Yeah, so but in my case, I try to copy and paste that image into that WGET that is under that first code snippet, but it didn't download the image directly. It gave me an error. So I just downloaded it and then uploaded it into the file system of that VM that Google assigns you in the notebook. So you can just go hit the upload button. It's gonna show your file system, look for the image, and save it in that directory. So again, going to the code snippets, basically just execute everything in order. Obviously, read what you're doing. That's really important if you really want to understand what you're doing here, because it's a fairly complex subject. Here, for example, you can use you are importing all the necessary libraries, setting different stuff for the functionality of the notebook, and just go through the whole thing, executing code in order. If you don't do it in order, it's gonna fail. I mean, it's gonna blow up on you. Execute the different. By the way, to execute the code snippets, you hit that play button, which it appears when you hover over the square brackets on the left side. You execute, and then it gives you. It's not gonna give you a lot of feedback unless there's an error, and just continue going through the whole notebook. If you execute it, you're gonna see that there's a number. It's gonna appear besides, or I mean, where the square brackets are. You just go ahead, execute all the code inside of the notebook. There's different functions here, from the gradient descent functions, the different processing algorithms for the images, with it, really useful snippets of text snippets here that explain what's actually going on under the hood. Do all of that until you reach yeah, just execute all of that code in order. So you're gonna do that until you reach the very end of the notebook, where here we are. So when you reach this point, it's now you have the freedom to test the algorithm with different images. So for example, here the Starry Night plus, I don't know what that is, fairness of creation plus that thing. All right, so you have one of two options. You can either edit, at least I did it this way, edit one of these examples, preferably one that already has the turtle in it, which is this one, fairness of creation plus C turtle. You're gonna edit that point here when if you uploaded the image that the professor sent us to the file system, you're gonna have it already available to play around with the algorithm. So you just replace whatever sample image they give you here. So in this case, it's the pillar of creation with the name, the stack name of the image as you saved in the file system. So after having that there, for example, I don't remember the name of the image. I'm assuming it's space.jpg. I don't have it here. I'm not gonna run it. I wanted to see how I did it. Once you have that edited, just run the code. You're gonna have some results, and you're gonna see it. I'm gonna try to do it with also. If you're gonna change one of these those snippets, please make sure to change like the whole section. So if you change the nebula image for the space image that the professor sent us, just also remember to change it in both functions, which is the first one that runs the style transfer and the second one that shows the actual result. So make sure to change it in both, because it's gonna give you an error. So after you have that, obviously run these two functions in order. This first one is the one that takes the most time because it's actually running the transfer. It makes several epochs until it reaches the correct, or at least what it thinks is the best combination of both styles. And then in this one, it's after you run it, this one is fairly quick. It's gonna show you the results, which is this image that I saved here. You can see there's at the very top, there's how I had it in my computer. Unfortunately, I don't have my computer with me right now, but that's how I have it. When you run that function, it's gonna show you the content image, like the original turtle, the image that you input, which is the image that the professor sent us, and the result. If you did it correctly, you filed the whole notebook, executed all the code in order, save the image in the NSD directory or any directory, as long as you know how to access it, it's gonna give you this result. But remember, run the code in order, because if not, it's not gonna work. So
Go back to the browser and just go to the file, show the file, run.
yeah, so it's on the TMP directory right now. It doesn't have anything in it because I haven't actually run the first code. But if I run it really quick here, if I run it really quick, it's gonna generate the NST folder. You can see that it's running right now, but there's the NST folder after it started downloading each one of the sample images that they already pre-given in the notebook.
So then you click on NST.
You click on NST and then just click upload. Click upload, it's gonna show you your file system, and then you select the image. So I can see this.
I remember you were going to be on two. Did you guys say it? Okay. Can you describe this? You don't have to go up there.
So what I did was I looked for a node snippet that I could add on to. I would prompt me a screen where and then I would just access it by using the then I change where you're looking at picture, I think.
Oh, it's in the Google.
Sure, which is why I think you can, because I tried to do it. I think that's why it's just open. So it's, sort of impression that it's
My image that link
Oh,
it was in the platform. So I just replace the same structure.
your image, did you print it out through Google and all that? Or did you just screenshot? Because I was trying to print it out like that. But since they're different images, I wasn't allowed to go to concatenation and print it out.
I'm not following you.
How can you go to your image? That image. How did you get that image? Did you screenshot it? Or
Oh yeah, I just did a screenshot of the result.
Say if you were able to. Because I was trying to do it like that, but through the code, like print it
Oh.
out, like save it into those two images together. This is the top of one image. and the bottom of the
Yeah,
image.
I-
Together in this screenshot.
Yeah, I thought of it, but since we were only asked to actually just get the result, so I just screenshotted the last code snippet with the image just to prove that I actually did it.
That's great. I'm going to give him applause. Thank you. All right, so if you didn't get through that one, at least I think you should be pretty clear now how you could have done it. Basically, in the example, click on everything, and then, put the file where you want the file. There was a couple of different ways of doing it. Yeah.
Sometimes what I do is I go whatever I like to my own notebook. That's everything. So I know that I just pass every code. This does this, and this is that. I change this, and then just run there so I can see that actually what he's doing.
Very good. The one we're going to go through in class next time actually had 2 errors in it. So if you had just pushed the buttons, some way it wasn't going to work. But I'll show you what those were in the example when I go through it in